So one thing that we thought would be really fun is to get a couple of our detailing friends to answer a few questions about what's going on in the detailing industry right now from their perspectives. We actually gave these guys a sneak peek of hybrid solutions just because we wanted to make sure that we met and exceeded all of your expectations for this line. And so these guys have worked with the products. They can talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about the industry. They've gotten to know us at Turtle Wax over the last few months. So we thought, it would be interesting for you guys to hear their perspective as they've gotten to know us. And then we also just have some fun Q&A in there. Matt and I are going to be the moderators. And then at the end, we want to take your questions. So if you have questions for anyone on the Turtle Wax team, and mostly Pan and Jimbo, please raise your hand, ask questions. We're all happy to answer. And with that, we'll take it away. So guys, what drew you to Turtle Wax in the last few months?
Want to go first, or you want me to? All right. Hi guys, Pan, the organizer YouTube channel. You want me to do it?
Yeah, do it, come on.
So welcome to another episode of Pan, the organizer. Yeah, my girlfriend, where is she, Isabel? Yeah, she loves that intro. So I'm up here from Montreal, Canada, so hi to everyone. I got to meet a lot of these wonderful people in the room. It's awesome that Turtle Wax, I think, has such a huge collection of YouTubers and photographers and professionals of the industry under one single roof. I don't think anybody has done this yet, so I think we can give them a round of applause, guys, right away. Hopefully other companies are taking notes, because I know everybody here has been enjoying this, but Turtle Wax was the first one to do it, so congrats. Turtle Wax, first of all, to answer the question, I think you guys have come a super long way. I was talking with a couple of people in the room here yesterday night, and we were discussing about how when we were younger, I'm 38 now, so I started detailing cars when I was 16, so that's been 22 years. And I remember the days of the green pot of the Turtle Wax hard shell, when you used to slap it on the vehicle, and it was a nightmare to remove. And I remember having to use a buffer to start removing that because I just didn't want to fight the product off anymore. And recently what I've seen from Turtle Wax is what I call a resurrection. They've come out with an outstanding amount of products. They don't confuse us like some other brands with 1,000 different versions of every single soap or wax that they have. So I think that's pretty cool. But mainly the innovations and some standouts that have been like Seal and Shine, the spray wax. Not only the ease of use, but the fact that they're a family-run business still to this date. And you guys got to meet some of the members of the family yesterday. I think that's pretty awesome. But you guys have, I think, kept up with the times and noticed the shift towards where detailing is heading, and I appreciate that innovation. I haven't seen that many spray format products than in the past 2 years. I'm sure you guys can attest to it. The videos are a testament to that. I mean, it's pretty obvious to notice that there's been a shift in the detailing world, and the consumer now has this opportunity to see all these YouTubers, and some are professionals, some are weekend warriors or DIYers, but we all live as a community, I think, and what we do is basically we'll share our experiences and our passion with our audience and the way we use products, and now they can go out there and either on e-commerce or in a big box store and grab the same product you guys are using and get very decent results, professional grade results at home, and all while not needing a medical degree to do it. So that for me is the evolution of Turtle Wax. Jimbo?
And for me, I'm Jimbo. I'm the guy that does unrealistic durability tests on YouTube, and I also have a podcast. So that's me. And what drew me to Turtle Wax was I started a little series called Cheap versus Expensive, where I was comparing cheap products versus more expensive ones, because that was the kind of genesis of why I started a podcast in general, was to kind of cut through all the noise of products that didn't deliver and were expensive. So the cheap versus expensive was just kind of my spin on that, and I know you guys hate it, but Turtle Wax was cheap. So that was an easy play. It's like, oh, they're cheap and no one talks about them, right? So value, sorry. They're cheap, so I picked them up. So, and then compared it versus expensive ones, and the cheap ones kept winning. And so that's kind of what turned me on to Turtle Wax, was like, hold on, let me rethink what I've been taught or what other people are saying of like, Turtle Wax is a crappy brand, they make crappy products, that's why they're cheap. Like, and sorry for all the like crap. It's not crap, so anyway. And that's kind of what's been a realization for me is like, wow, these products are good, like, or great in some cases, you know. And with this line and being able to play with it, it's like taking that and then taking it one step further. So, yeah.
So other than the eponymous Serum Shine, what are the other products in our roster that everybody should have in their locker?
You're asking me questions, right? I already forgot. They told me that I forgot. I think the wet wax is, or the wax, what is it called? Like wax and dry? Wax and dry? I think that is one of the most underestimated products out there, not for durability, but for ease of use. And then most people that are washing their cars deal with hard water spots. And what I realized with the wax and dry is that it buys you time on your car from not getting water spots. So not everyone has DI water, which is super nice to use, but the wax and dry, you can spray it on when the car's wet and it buys you a ton of time and you don't get water spots. So obviously Seal and Shine and Ice Spray Wax and even the Ice Quick Detailer are great, but I think the wax and dry is a great product.
For me, other than Seal and Shine, which for me is the staple of the brand, it's the spray wax. So what I like to touch on is the complementary aspect of the spray wax, which you can apply on top of Seal and Shine. So it'll give a bit more depth, a bit more richness. Use that as a drying aid if you want to. And I think, again, just the ease of application and even, well, chemical resistance. I know you love that. It's one thing, because in real life, I don't think people submit their vehicles to an onslaught of chemicals, but it's still nice to know that if you do go through a tunnel wash or if you do use some harsher chemicals, those products will stand out and they won't break the bank. But I think those two, Seal and Shine and spray wax, because they can be combined together, that's a pretty strong duo there.
That's great. So I know you guys touched on it a little bit, but when you think of the competition that's out there, what stands out that makes Turtle Wax so different from anybody else on the market?
You're cheap. I'm just kidding.
Jimbo's not on brand.
I will not be here next year.
Well, if I can go on this topic, again, I think it's just the value proposition. Everybody knows the Turtle Wax brand, but people remember it from back in the day. And now what they're offering these days is completely different. And this new lineup, by the way, the 2020, exceeds my expectations. Like, I can't wait to do videos on these products. But the value proposition, I think, is number one. The ease of use. I know they stressed about it before, but it's true. If you get to try it, and I'm sure you guys, I see a lot of people here that actually tested them. They are that good, and at that price, they compete with competitors that are worth 5 to 6 times that same thing, who are known as more a professional level brand. But that there's any professional in this room could be using Seal and Shine. You don't have to feel shy about it. The results are there, and the good thing is that your customer, well, if you're done with his vehicle and you used a product like Seal and Shine, he can go out there and buy it himself and continue using and upkeeping or maintaining that finish himself. So that's pretty cool, I think.
And I'll just echo what Pan said. You know, I look at durability is obviously a big factor for a lot of products, but when you factor in like the ease of use, like he was talking about, and then how easy is it to get, right? And then the price. So when you look at the product as a whole, I think Turtle Wax really nails that.
So if I can just add another thing that comes to mind. There are some brands out there where you go to the store or online and you look at their entire lineup and you know that regardless of which product you'll pick, you'll probably get something decent. And I think Turtle Wax now, with their current lineup and their new lineup, is definitely in that leading pack. Because regardless of which product you pick, you will get a decent result. So it's an easy go-to to know that you'll get the product, you won't fight with it, you won't have to make sure that you're in perfect conditions in a sterile room or in your garage. You can still do it in direct sunlight, or if the conditions aren't optimal, you know that you'll pick up the bottle, enjoy using it, and you'll be back for more. And again, it doesn't break the bank. So that's another thing, is how would I call it? The facility of knowing that you're picking something up. You can go home, and even if you don't read the label, which everybody should, but we all know that we do those off-label uses, especially on YouTube channels. It's crazy. So yeah, you just get to enjoy the product, and you're going to go back for more.
So when we first asked you to go to test the new products, what did you think?
You want me to go? Yeah. What did I think? I thought, my initial thought was like, wow, like this is Turtle Wax really trying to level up, you know, and really trying to do that. Also, some very interesting innovations like the ceramic or 3-in-1. I think we're going to get deeper into it, but like also some technology that we don't or haven't really ever seen, which I think is in the 3-in-1, which is interesting. And really just, I don't know, my first thought was like, wow, cool, Turtle Wax has thrown their hat in the ring with like the whole ceramic thing, which is if you think about the perception of Turtle Wax, it's always been that they're way behind the times. And so my initial thought was like, this is them actually trying to at least keep up with the current times, you know?
For me, it's, yes, again, the SiO2 I think has been a craze, right guys, in the past year. Everybody and their grandmother seems to be making SiO2 products now. But what I like to see is what a company actually does with it. Darren touched a bit on that topic a bit before. So what are they doing with that SiO2 technology? Because SiO2 on its own, it's just, it means something that's organic in nature, so that can be any type of chemistry. I think many companies just use this as a branding or to commercialize their system, so it looks cool, SiO2, I heard about it on YouTube, I'm gonna buy it. But Turtle Wax, I think, stepped that concept up a notch, and they're really using it for what it's supposed to be used for. And for me, like one of the highlights, you guys will get to test it, is the ceramic spray wax. If you guys thought that Seal and Shine is good, and it is good, this is Seal and Shine on steroids. So they did a great job formulating this new lineup, and yeah, I'm sure you'll be as excited as I am testing the products.
So Pan, you said that the spray coating, ceramic spray coating is your standout. Jimbo, what's your standout in the line?
I like the spray coating too, but I have one issue that no one else has or gets, and so it's literally only me. Darren's like, we can't even, the issue I'm having, no one else can figure out how you're getting that issue. I actually do really like the 3-in-1. I think it has, you know, a thing that I've been throwing out and playing a lot with is, I think that when you get to machine, or when it comes to machine polishing, we're working our way down to one liquid and then switching up the pad combo or the machine combo depending on the result that you're trying to achieve. And so I think the 3-in-1 specifically does that. Like depending upon what pad, what machine you're using, you can get varying results, which is awesome.
And that's the polish and wax.
Yeah.
Just to be,
sorry, I'm not good
clarify.
with names.
Well, because we have the 3-in-1 detailer and the polish and wax.
Yeah.
So the polish and wax is what Jimbo's talking about. And I think it's because you use that dented hood.
It's a door, first of all, and it's definitely dented.
If anybody watches Jimbo, he gets ridiculed for his poor dented door.
And not reading the label.
And not reading the label. He's getting better at it.
So when your fellow detailers start testing these products, what should they be looking out for?
Say it again?
So when your fellow detailers start testing the line, what do you think they should be looking out for?
I think looking at like ease of use, and the soap too. The soap is cool because, you know, I've tested a couple wash and waxes, and I think if you call a product a wash and a wax, it should have some of the properties of a wax, which would be like hydrophobic properties. And a lot of soaps don't do that. This soap actually does create hydrophobic properties, which is cool. But look at ease of use. Look at can you use it on other surfaces of the car that aren't on the label, and how can you get the most out of each product.
I'd go a step further and I'd say, and I know many of you are going to do it, but just compare them to their competitors, and you're going to see for yourselves just how good these actually are. Another late craze that we've seen this past year is the spray on and rinse off formulas. So that's been like every other company is doing it now. So it's very easy to have many competitors in the same video. I'm giving you guys an idea of a future video of how to use these ones, and you'll see how they stack up, and they're pretty good. So they deliver on their promise, and you can tell there's something different about the 2020 lineup than compared to what they used to have before. So again, I think it's just stack them up against their competitors. I'm sure Turtle Wax is not even shy for YouTubers. If you guys have us here and you have all these amazing people creating content, I'm sure that you're not even stressed one bit of the performance that you'll be getting out of the lineup. So I think that says a lot about your confidence in your lineup.
Thanks, Pan. And just to note, everyone here, by the end of the month, you'll receive a package at home with all of the new products. Lori's team is hard at work producing those starting this week. So they will be running off the line and at your doorstep before November 1st. So stay tuned. We can't wait for you all to check those out. But let's shift gears a little bit. So let's talk about the detailing industry overall. So it's evolved so much, right? So what are the trends? What are you guys seeing from your perspective? And obviously everybody in this room is making such a big impact on detailing and car care. What are you seeing? What's the latest in the detailing industry?
One thing I can see is that all the creators that are here in the room, I think we push companies to come out with better products. And if they're sitting on their laurels and they're not doing their due diligence to come out with a great lineup, well, the viewers will know. And I think it pushes them to strive for well, not only improving on their lineup, but creating new products as well. What we were using just 5 years ago, if I remember, ceramic coatings weren't even a thing back then, and today it's the craze. There are many reasons behind that, of course, but I think there's been a huge evolution or a shift in the way we use products. Everything has to be a lot easier, a lot quicker to apply. For the professionals out there, I think efficiency is very important if you want to increase your profitability as well. And any company that doesn't understand that, well, they're going to be lagging behind. And I appreciate the brands that understand that influencers today are super important. We have people to answer to, which are our viewers. They're there every day pushing us even harder. We get tons of critiques, not only from keyboard warriors and weekend warriors, but from the viewers themselves who want just even more. And they'll come up with crazier tests as well. Why don't you do this against that? Why don't you compare this product against that product? I used this brand new product that I wasn't aware of. And now, well, you get to discover new brands out there, and some of the older ones, I think, notice that, whoop, there's a shift in the mentality. There's tons of people who have access to chemical blenders now, and who can come up with great formulations for products. And the ones who are at the forefront of this are the ones who have a smart team working for them that keeps evolving and that understands where the trends are heading. Again, I touched a bit, I think, before on the spray and rinse formulas. Anything ceramic coating based or ceramic-ish products, I think are an evolution of that, and everybody's trying to do it or to offer it in their lineup, but not everybody does it the same way. So those are a couple of keys that I've seen. And also, I think 10 years ago, there weren't that many channels on YouTube. YouTube barely existed. And today you have all these kind of reporters or people testing your stuff, even in ways I'm sure that Turtle Wax, for example, never thought of. They look at JIMBO doing the tests and like, oh God, did anybody do this in the lab? And nope. And well, sure, and well, there you go. That proves that companies need to be aware of the social media space, and people are demanding, and there are great companies out there that produce great products. And so if you don't make your due diligence and proper work and studies, well, you'll be lagging behind, and eventually you'll die off. So those, I think, are some of the evolutions that I've seen recently.
I guess I'll just add to it quickly. I think we're seeing, I was trying to think of a different word than power, but I think we're seeing a bit of a shift in power. As detailers, we've always just we've had to work with what we can get on the shelves or whatever we can buy. And I think with social media, we're able to kind of tell brands what we want now. And then with events like this, brands are starting to listen, right? And so I think we're seeing a bit of a shift in power, or I don't like that word power, but every time I try to come up with a different word, I get tongue-tied. So dynamic. Yeah, that's good.
So, what's your biggest challenge as a content creator and a detailer in 2020?
For me, it's just thinking of fresh new ideas that'll work. You know, it's when I started on YouTube, I started with the traditional like how to shine a tire, how to clean a rim, how to get straight through windows, and that's great, and those videos are needed, but there's like a gazillion of those. So my biggest challenge is trying to figure out what is my angle, like what am I going to bring to the table, what value am I going to bring to my viewers. So that's my biggest challenge, is just idea creation and finding my angle.
For me, I'd say is I want to leave a deep and meaningful impact to the people who watch the videos. So it's not only to have an entertaining outlet for people to go out and watch, because I always say I like to go out there and detail my car, and I want my viewers to do the same because I find it's a soothing experience. My neighbors find me crazy. They see the camera there out all the time. I'm washing cars day in, day out, in the garage, outside. It just goes nuts. There's this thing on the street, the tons of snow foam that goes out there and all the foam, and they see that constantly day in and day out. But they understand the OCD. I think pretty much everybody here can relate to that. And for me, the challenge is, well, yes, the videos are there. People love to watch them for entertainment values as well. But if we can make the slightest bit of difference in their life and bring something to them, we've seen so many people start their careers in detailing because of all these YouTube outlets. So again, I see some professionals in the industry that have their YouTube channel. We have the DIYers as well that are on there. And I think it's a positive thing. Some kids, the youth, they're out of school, they're not necessarily sure of what they want to do on later in life, and I think we're there to help inspire them. It's so gratifying to see that you've made an impact in a person's life, and now it becomes part of their livelihood, and they can feed their family and their kids because of detailing. I think that's awesome. So if we can help change even just a slight percentage of a person's life and help guide them, I think that's pretty cool.
Very inspiring there. What could brands like Turtlex, what can we do to help you guys? Like, how can we continue to support this awesome community that we have in the room?
Money helps. No, I think events like this, I was talking to some guys last night, like, you know, it's so interesting to meet people in person, because sometimes we have our differences online, but every time you meet someone in person, it's like completely different, and most of us get along with each other, contrary to what happens online usually. So I think just events like this, and then, because this gives us content too, right? So you asking like, what is our biggest struggle? And some of us, it's content. If we can come to an event like this is a ton of content for us to produce, which is mutually beneficial for all of us, right? So, but money helps, and then events help, and new products.
I'd say, to touch on what Jimbo said, I think that it has to be a mutual relationship, and I think Turtle Wax is one of the first ones to really understand that. So all the content creators that are here and the influencers, we spend countless hours and hours filming, editing, responding to comments, responding to emails, trying to come up with the best content, be original all the time. So the brands have to understand that we drive so much traffic, which of course the bottom line is the sales that go up, but I think more importantly for the long term is the online exposure that these people get, the brands get. So if we're to increase their bottom line, well, we have to get something out of it as well. So I think it has to be a mutual relationship. And as long as it's done in respect and we build trustworthy relationships, I think that's cool. But I think brands need to understand that influencers aren't there. It's not enough, I think, anymore just to send a product to someone. There has to be this mutual, I want to help you as well, because you're helping me grow my business. So YouTubers are the same, photographers are the same, anybody that's in social media, well, brands need to understand that these folks are super important. You have to keep your eyes opened and your ears open to these people, and you want to help them out as well. So it's not only what the social media influencers can do for the brand, but what the brand can do for them. And I think this today is a game changer. It's a step in the right direction, because I see all these awesome people in the room once again. I'm shocked. I'm super stressed, by the way, to be doing this right now. We're so used to be doing this in front of a camera, but this is crazy. The stress level is through the roof. But yeah, so I think if brands understand that social media people are actual individuals with real lives, it has to be mutually beneficial. So if we also benefit, well, the brand benefits, everybody's happy in the end, and as long as they're doing a good job putting out good products, we'll be out there to support them.
And so what do you want to see next from the detailing industry?
Product-wise, or what? Anything?
Yeah, or
I want to see a ceramic coating that will fill the panel to where you don't have to do any paint correction.
I also want to see a ceramic coating, but something that won't necessarily take you multiple layers to apply. No long times, no having to worry about crazy flash times, about the humidity levels, perfect conditions, have to work indoors in almost an entirely sterile environment. Something that's super easy to apply. There are a lot of those, but those typically don't have the durability. So I think if a company or a brand can come out with a spray-on paint protectant, ideally, or something that's very simple to apply, that will give you 2 years plus of durability, I think that's the next challenge. I've seen pretty much all ceramic coatings that are pro grade can go 2 to 7 years, that's fine. But typically they're a mess to apply. You'll have to apply multiple layers. You have to maintain that coating, so I think that's another challenge, is that the majority of the ceramic coatings out there, regardless how good they are, they still need to be maintained. Every 2 to 3 months, that silica content has a tendency to not evaporate, but it dissipates. The coat has a tendency to deteriorate over time, and you have to replenish it with a maintenance product. So I think if we can steer away from that, the brand is going to have a huge benefit, because a lot of customers don't want or don't have the time to do all the upkeep that's necessary with ceramic coatings. But ceramic coatings for me are still the best form of paint protection. So the gloss, the hydrophobic properties, UV protection, the slickness, all that good stuff, but in an easy spray format that will give you the 2+ years durability. If somebody can crack that code, I think they're going to sell tons of it and put everybody else out of business, at least in that ceramic coating department.
Very cool. Mike, you gotta get busy. You hear all that?
That's right, Mike.
All right, guys.
We'll call it Mike's coding.
Yeah.
Is that for a challenge?
We should name something after you. Okay, so just one more fun question before then we get to Q&A. So what's something fun we don't know about you both? You guys are sharing your lives all the time. I gave you the questions in advance.
I read it and then I thought about that question.
And you guys share so much with your audience. Or there's something that you would want them to know that maybe you don't get the chance to share all the time in your videos?
I do videos in English and French. So I have the biggest following, of course, is the English side. But some people still to this day don't know that I do videos in both languages, so it's super challenging because it's not a voiceover. I have to restart everything twice. So one video alone is very, very long and tedious to do, but two is I think another level. But I also speak Greek, so you might see some Greek content eventually. That's something my viewers don't know yet, but we'll see where that leads me. So another language to add, why not?
Pam can speak 3 languages and I can barely speak English. So, no, fun fact, I'm actually a big avid Laker fan. So basketball is like one of my favorite sports and something I never really talk about, but sometimes when it gets thrown out, there's some good banter back and forth in the comments and stuff, so yeah.
Very cool. All right, from the audience, any questions that you guys want to ask us? Anyone from the Turtle Wax team, Pan, Jimbo? Don't be shy.
Be
You know
easy
your
on us.
questions. No one? Darren?
Don't you know everything about the products?
It's really not a question, but it's a reality. Is what's happened. I would say in the last year is that, and these gentlemen hit on it, is we as a brand you just can't throw products out there and say, hey, this is great stuff. It will get scrutinized beyond your measures of what you ever thought anybody's doing. We never a year ago said when we made Seal and Shine, oh, by the way, somebody's going to put a degreaser, an Iron X product, and
Who would do that?
a wheel cleaner. You know, it's got to pass all these protocols. And what that has changed within our company is in our innovation process now, we have a testing protocol that's unbelievable. That we're
Sorry, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you've got to go through these series of tests because that is what it's become, and that's what you guys have set the expectations are. You just can't throw a product out there from any brand and go, it's good. It will get scrutinized, and you better be right, and your claims better be right on because they're going to get challenged. And that's
If you're
what
lying, we'll discover it.
Yes.
We'll find it out.
And that's a great thing, and I think that's been, because I think everything we do, we have that in mind, but now it's being reinforced. And I think that's a game changer in this industry. And you're going to see, I've already seen it, I've seen brands that launch and then, a few months later they have version 2. Really quick, and that's one thing we're trying to avoid is we're going out the right way every time from here on out, and that will change. Those brands that you took it for granted, it's not getting taken for granted any longer. So I think it's an exciting time, and it's leveling the playing field for a lot of players in the marketplace. That was my
Mike, by the way, how much percentage of SiO2 are there in the bottles? Is it 5%? Is it 10%? I want to see the college sheet, the NDA sheet? SDS sheet. I want to see that.
All right.
I'm just joking.
No, I did have a question about Pan and Jimbo. Obviously, you've been doing all these videos. Have you ever, some of the company, obviously we've been with the Super Hard Show when Jimbo did Super Hard Show paste versus a true hard K paste. We lost. Do you receive calls or emails from competitors without bringing their name up? And has there ever been negative reaction to your type of videos from manufacturers without bringing them specific ones up?
Negative reactions, no, but what competitors try to do sometimes is they want to know if we have an insight of, are they blending their own products or are they using a different blending company, and if we know who that blending company is. That's pretty much the extent of the secrets that they want to know, but they know we wouldn't share that kind of information even if we did. So yeah, a couple of ones are sneaky. They try that kind of stuff, but negative comments, no. I think they know better than that, because the response, obviously, you have somebody who has access to social media with a pretty decent following. So if they make a misstep there and we decide to make a video and call that company out that's doing that kind of bad stuff, I think it would be detrimental to the reputation.
I do. I get emails from brands. So I can think of one video in particular. I obviously won't say the brand, but I got accused of not letting the product cure all the way, which it had a 7-day cure time. So what I just did was I just read the email on another YouTube video and let the product cure 7 full days, and then proved that I had the same results that I did in the first video. So I actually tend to get emails quite a bit saying that I did something wrong, usually.
Any other questions?
So, from Miranda Auto Detailing.
Got an intro.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you guys, where do you see your channels going from here on out? And maybe in the future, I know it can be a challenge to kind of create new content. Where do you want to go from here? But are you going to add anything else new to your channel from here on out?
What I want to do is maybe add a first-person perspective to detailing. So, of course, you get to view all the other channels and you see what's being done, and you can see some trends that are also starting. So I just want to give maybe a different twist on the kind of content that I'm doing. But I think just being fed by the comments of the viewers, you kind of understand what they now want. So although you have pre-planned content on your side, I think what's cool about it is your audience will let you know, hey, I found this brand out. And if you get 50 comments about the same thing, well, you know it's time for you to make a video. So I think it's a never-ending pool of ideas, which is pretty awesome. But I think it's important to keep innovating. You don't want to stagnate when you're growing your channel. So I know what I used to do at the beginning compared to what I'm doing today. My first videos, when I look back, they're horrible. I don't even understand why I'm here today, right? So, I mean, it humbles you, it's a humbling experience, but you want to keep innovating. You never want to be the guy that falls behind times, that you didn't catch up to the recent trends, or well, like anything that we do today. As I said before, we didn't do just 5 years ago. Things, technology, equipment, the products have evolved so much that you, I think, as a content creator, have to evolve as well. So if you do the exact same thing you used to 2 years ago, well, I think you need to start looking back at what you're doing. And you can even ask your audience, what do you guys want to see on the channel? So they understand you, they like your personality, but maybe they want to see you try something different. So I think that's important, is to try and always improve and evolve.
I think people go to YouTube for 2 reasons, right? Either education or entertainment, right? So a big focus for me going into 2020 is how do I kind of blend those two in the best way possible? So how do I educate them on features of the product that I like, and then do that in a fun way, right? That's entertaining to watch. So for me, it's kind of trying to mix the education and entertainment in one.
Brad?
Do you guys see any trends with OEM car paint in the future?
What was it?
Car paint, like the OEMs, newer technology, because I see a lot more plastic hoods and to make them lighter. So I'm wondering if you guys have any problems, or do you guys see any differences in technology down the road?
I would say if the self-healing Clearcoat ever becomes popular, then it might become an issue, you know? Like Nissan tried to do a few years back, which ironically Mike and I were talking about yesterday. But I think if that, like some sort of self-healing Clearcoat that is, that could be a problem, potentially.
Mercedes trying to do that also, but never panned out.
Seems to never work, so.
I think that would be a great question for Dr. David Gudusi, which is the owner of Optimum Polymer Technologies. He is the one who actually invented, or should I say pioneered, the modern day Clearcoat. So I think it'd be better to pick the mind of somebody who works closely with paint companies like BASF and the ones who actually put Clearcoats on vehicles to see what's there, because obviously they're keeping it a secret for now. I haven't seen an evolution, I think. Yes, there are softer Clearcoats, harder Clearcoats, that everything's a challenge for detailers, but other than that, I don't know where the industry is headed. Hopefully it's something good that we can all adjust to, but who knows?
So I had another question real quick.
I think they all want to get out and play with the products. I'm just saying.
I think we're eating first, though, right? No, okay, never mind. Last question. In in the real world, the average consumer, there's a lot of consumers that just don't care about their car. They've lost. It's not important to them as much as when I couldn't wait to have my own car when I was a teenager. What's changed too is they either don't wash it, they let Mother Nature wash it, they take it through a car wash tunnel, a $3 car wash, or whatever it is. But the one thing it can't do is make the inside of the car smell better, clean and cleanliness. It's truly, in some ways, turning out to be the only really DIY they have to do it. Either they want to drive in their own filth every day, or they have to clean it. And so I think one of the things going forward is you think about the average consumer that while a lot of the technology, everything we're talking about today is on the exterior of the car, ceramics and everything it is, there still needs to be that innovation on the inside of the car. And you're starting to see a lot of one-step type of products that do everything. And I think there's still a long way to go there, because while they may not participate on the exterior of their car, they will, if they want anybody to ride with them, have to eventually clean the inside. And there's still, we found over the years, you've seen odor elimination explode in our industry, products from us and other competitors about removing whether it's smoke or any foulness smell in the car. So you're seeing a lot of those categories continue to grow as consumers are looking for easy, great ways to maintain the interior of the car. Sometimes it gets forgotten, I think, and it's fun, being fun as the audience, and I know a lot of you guys detail that, but I think thoughts on that is still truly, to me, the true DIY that any consumer has to do is to clean up after themselves inside the car.
One thing I'd like to add, because I'm not sure you asked the question there, Darren, is there, but you did touch on something interesting, is the
he was thinking about food, so the question got lost.
It's kind of a statement, but are you guys, again, I'm throwing that back to you as a thought to what your thoughts on.
Well, not necessarily for the interior, but one thing you touched about, I think it's true that the average person doesn't necessarily have the time or want to detail their car, which can be shifted, because I think our role as social influencers is to educate. If you educate the person and show them just how simple it can be, of course, it's all like building blocks. You want to start with the basics. So an exterior car wash, you don't go through ceramic coatings right away. So if you teach them the building blocks, I think they're going to get, and you tell them, go out there and enjoy it. It's not going to take you 15 hours. Start with the basics, enjoy washing your car, look at the results, and look at everybody else around you who'll say, wow, he's doing it. It doesn't seem that complicated, because it's not. If you have, and now today, it's cool, because before we used to have the car detailing forums that we used to have to go on and bulletin board systems and that kind of stuff. Today they have the visual cues and the audio. So it's a video on YouTube. You go out there, you see a person that you enjoy watching, they have a great personality that whoever you like or enjoy, and they'll teach you how to do the basic stuff. And it's basically to go out there, I think, and enjoy doing the process. I think people see it as a chore, but once they understand that the process actually is so soothing, and it gives you, there's something gratifying about the end result, and you see what you've done with your own hands. I'm a person that's zero manual in life. I'm not good at anything manual, but I like detailing vehicles. I like the effect. I like to see the end result. I like to see the smile on the person's face when they saw their dirty car come back and look better than new, and that they can emulate some of that in their own homes. So I think if we educate people to tell them it's a fun process, and there's something that you'll forget about your daily problems and your issues, because you have to focus on the task at hand. And if you do that, you'll love it. Grab your favorite product, go out there, spend some time, and your vehicle is typically your second most expensive thing after your home in your life, so you should be taking care of it. So instead of seeing it as a chore or something that's not fun, it's how we can do to show these people or guide them to make it a fun process and enjoy doing it. So that's a huge thing moving forward, and I think that's what the majority of the channels are doing now. I'm sure everybody can attest in the comment section. They see, oh my God, I never used to wash my car before. And now I just like seeing you do it, and I do it too. And now they become professionals. Oh, Ben, you should stop using that soap. Try using this soap or this wax or that sealant. So it's nice to see that people get into the hobby, and eventually it can be their livelihood as well one day. Who knows?
I think interior detailers are a really underestimated product. And I think to kind of touch on innovation and something you guys have done, and maybe this is where you were leading, Darren, I have no idea. But like everything went to wipes, right? Because it's easy use. And I actually recommend wipes to a lot of my customers for their leather seats or their dash or their cup holders or whatever. They can just store the bucket of wipes in the back. But one thing that always happened is the wipes dry out, right? So one product that I think Brian with Apex, wherever he is, did a video on your guys' wipes, right? And it's a dry wipe with a spray bottle built into it. And so just another innovative product to touch on interior stuff for people that don't have time. And interior detailers are great, but then you got to keep a towel and a spray bottle. It can kind of be a lot to handle, but another innovative thing that you guys did is combine that all in one, so that's cool.